Open up, man. See the bright light of salvation. Open up and speak and talk, man. There is no judgment. If only all you men suppressed your masculinity and opened up about how you are feeling, everything would be smooth as silk and satin laced with arsenic and cyanide. If only you stopped acting manly and opened up, all your woes would leave you. All that tension would just float out of your muscles in a phlegmatic cough rising from your cancer-ridden lungs. All day, every day, open up and talk, and you shall see and sense the bright light of salvation, and you shall be cleansed and bathed in the tears of God. Suppress your natural side, deny who you are, and become what the feminists want you to be, and all shall be well and good. The assumption, of course, is that men are not by nature masculine, but are masculine by their own design. That behaving like a man is nothing but an act to cover up weakness. That one is not being a man, but merely pretending to be a man. That men act as men because we are, in fact, men, is a thought that does not even strike these social constructivist nonsense makers' babble-mouthed brainstems. Men are not men. We are a blank slate tortured and malformed by societal expectations of how men should behave. In order to rectify this, we must change how we behave to please the feminists and become the shining light of salvation ourselves. If we only acted more like women, we shall be free. Because that is the golden standard that all shall follow, the proclaimed social construct of femininity. Because all is a construct, and all constructs are bad, except for the construct of femininity, which is the true nature of all human beings. So we are told to open up and talk about our emotions, and so we talk about them, only to be met with ridicule, to be told that male tears are a delicious beverage to drink and to bathe in via shirts and mugs, and to see that our pain is a source of amusement and ridicule. Our conferences on men's issues are protested, shouted down and shut down, and we are labelled as crybabies with no real issues. Men's emotional pain is not taken seriously, even by the same forces that would have us open up and talk about our emotional pain. It is, of course, only a way for feminists to proclaim that they care ever so much about men. If only men were the way they wanted them to be. If only men succumbed to their will. That is to say, do not talk about issues regarding men that are not pre-approved by feminists. And above all, do not talk about them in a way not pre-approved by feminists. In other words, shut up and listen. In this world, where we are told one thing only to experience the opposite is true, what's a man to do? Damned if you do, and damned if you don't. Men act instead of talk, as a general rule, and women talk instead of act, as a general rule. And when the powers that be tell us to open up and speak, only to make us realize when we finally do that we are told to shut up and listen, we grow confused. And confusion brings inner turmoil when there is no release. And there is no release because we are told that our way of handling our emotions is wrong, and we are shown that attempting to talk about our emotions is wrong. Both are wrong in the minds and eyes of feminists. Men cannot do anything right, and our societies see no issues with telling us this, constantly bombarding us with conflicting messages and commands to do this, do that, do all the things, even when the things contradict the other things, and the actions of feminists show quite the opposite of what they say. If you object to this, you are showing how toxic masculinity is, and are thusly nothing but a neck-bearded, basement-dwelling, incel virgin loser who can't find a woman. Should you wish to find a woman, you are acting as though you are entitled to sex. Should you not wish to find a woman, you are a misogynist who hates women. Freeze. In the headlights of this foul year of our Lord. Freeze. And do nothing. And wait for the inevitable barrage of articles asking, where have all the good men gone? Where did chivalry go? It's time for men to shape up and step up and be gentlemen again. Even when that is deemed as sexism. It doesn't matter. Everything is sexist, no matter what and how and where and when. So here we stand, frozen in the headlights, waiting for the truck to hit. And when it hits, and images of our mangled, broken bodies start floating about atop the rip-roaring tide of our engines of mass manipulation, our sanctified mass media news outlets, the conclusion remains the same. There is something wrong with men, and men need to change. Asking men to talk more about their emotions presupposes that someone is willing to listen, and that is seldom, if ever, the case, as made evident by the aforementioned male tears, mugs and shirts. It's wrong when we don't talk about our issues. And when we do, it is either goddamned hilarious or dangerous. Hilarious to feminists and dangerous to women. Men talking about issues affecting men is taking away from issues affecting women, even when the claim is that men need to talk more about their issues. This is what we are told, and this is what we are shown. And this lays down a fertile breeding ground to spawn broken men. Our society is beckoning us to come closer with the same hand that pushes us away and holds our heads under water. It is not a secret that men experience far less empathy than women, be that politically, intimately, socially. This begins already at birth, with boys being left to cry longer than girls before they are picked up by their parents. It is not a secret, that is, to those who do not cling to the nonsensical belief that women are disenfranchised and oppressed, not being shown empathy in any way, shape or form, whilst being shown all the empathy our careworn societies have to offer, all serpent tongue and smoother than hissing silk. A broken man is useless to society, since he has nothing to give, no value in and of himself. Better for him to off himself than find value in and of himself. Women, on the other hand, have always had value in and of themselves, and feminists know this. A broken woman must be mended, fixed and repaired by any means necessary, given all the help there is, all the time, and she will experience this. A broken man may be told that there are empathetic ears. He may be told that people will help. He is, however, shown time and again that no one wishes to have anything to do with him, that there is no help for him, no ears to listen and no hands to help. He is pushed away and hidden away, being told to open up and then being told to shut up and let women speak when he finally caves in and opens up. It is not the case that men are emotionally stunted, or that men are not in touch with their emotions. It just so happened that men process their emotions differently than women, as a general rule. There is nothing wrong with this. What is wrong is being told that the way men process emotion is wrong, that we need to do it differently, that we need to be socially engineered to do it differently, only to experience, when we do it differently, that no one is willing to listen. That it is wrong for us to talk about our fears and pains. That leaves no room to maneuver, no way to do anything about our emotions, no path to tread. The beaten path is wrong, the new path is wrong, all paths are wrong, and there is no place for us to go at the end of the day, when yet another sleepless night is crawling in on us and the whispering voices from our minds keep us from sleeping and keep us from being emotionally fulfilled. The silence in those long, yearning nights is a silence profound and deafening. A dangerous silence wherein all that is wrong with one's life and oneself floats around inside the inner sanctum of the mind. Giant asteroids colliding with enormous planets in the vast vacuum of space, exploding over and over again. Pieces of order and stability being chipped away in grand galactic explosions until there is nothing left but a gnawing, biting, burning, shriveled up and dying sun, anxiously awaiting the imminent implosion of the fruitless void of the inner world. The unbridled and unhinged celebration of the feminine path to healing being the one true path to healing strikes me as nothing but arrogance. That there are more ways than one to process and deal with emotions, be they good or bad, is a concept dying in our streets from malnourishment. And it is malnourished by the constant insistence from feminism, and as a result from society at large, that there is something fundamentally wrong with men, and that if only men could change and behave differently, all would be good in the world of men and the world at large. The notion that society should, perhaps, change the way it views and treats men is as foreign to these people and their views as introspection is. That mayhaps and may be the best path to take to make men heal and make men whole is to not bombard men constantly with a barrage of hostility and enmity, to not continually tell us that we do everything wrong, no matter what and how we do it. Remove the hostility and the constant attacks, and maybe, just maybe, let men speak and deal with our issues in a way deemed suitable by us instead of the feminist hive mind. Remove the blatant lies and constant protesting and shutting down of our conferences. Let men have their own spaces in which to air their issues and seek healing, instead of shutting them down for being foul, misogynist hellholes if there are no women present. This may come as a shock to the feminist armies, but I'll take my chances and say it. Prepare your sniffing salts and fainting couches if you need them. Men do not need women around in order to behave properly. We are quite capable of behaving properly under our own supervision. We are not children in need of constant parental guidance. There is not anything wrong with men. There is something wrong with a society which constantly tells us that there are something wrong with men. Being constantly told that there is something wrong with men creates men there is something wrong with. Especially when there is no place to go for healing, no destination to reach, and all ears and all eyes are deaf and blind by willful design trickling down from the beginning of time. Madness masquerading as reason burns the core. Society has gone insane, and the ones who still dance are considered insane by the ones who do not hear the music.